please welcome Professor Surendra Tomar Shukla. He is Associate Professor of Oncology Science, Department, Oklahoma University Health Center. His research interest is gastrointestinal cancers to understand the molecular and metabolic basis of cancer-associated cachexia, and he have published more than 50 articles in most of the international journals. Please welcome. The topic is metabolic and molecular regulator of therapy resistance in pancreatic cancer. Please.
Thank you so much for very nice introduction, and I would like to thank organizer for providing me opportunity to present my work. So today I will be talking about the metabolic and the molecular regulators of the therapy resistance in pancreatic cancer. So during my talk I will briefly introduce you about the pancreatic cancer, and then talk about the role of metabolic alteration in therapy resistance, and then briefly I will talk about the role of VAH1 in the FOLFIRINOX resistance. So as indicated by name, and Dr. Singh has already introduced, that the pancreatic cancer is the very lethal cancer, and as evident by name, it's the cancer of pancreas, and almost 95% cancers are the pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma. And as you heard earlier, that it's very lethal cancer, and I will give you some more stats, like it accounts only 3.3% cases of the total cancer in United States if we go by incidence, but its death share is 8.8%, more than double. And every year, like, it's the incidence, number of incidence and number of lethality are very close, and the overall 5-year survival rate is just 12.5%. And due to our improved molecular understanding and the novel therapeutics and the better detection techniques, in the most of the cancer related deaths, they are going down, but like some of them, like the liver cancer and the pancreatic cancer, death rates are still on rise. And according to an estimate, by 2030, pancreatic cancer is going to be the second leading cause of the cancer related death. So the key cause of the high lethality, as you heard earlier, like the late diagnosis, early metastasis, and the extremely resistant nature of this cancer to the different therapies. It might be the chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or immune therapy. So my research work has been focused on the different aspects of the pancreatic cancer, like the therapy resistance, which I will be talking today, and the cancer associated cachexia. That's mainly the muscle wasting, and it's highly prevalent in the pancreatic cancer and impacts the overall mortality of the cancer patients, and the tumor stromal interaction. So as we know, along with the other hallmark, the deregulated cellular metabolism is now considered as the key hallmark of the different type of cancer, including the pancreatic cancer. So we were interested in the exploring the role of the deregulated cellular metabolism in the therapy resistance. So at that time, the gemcitabine was the first line therapy for the pancreatic cancer. So we developed the acquired gemcitabine resistance model by serial exposure of the gemcitabine to the pancreatic cancer cells, and we were able to generate around 500-fold more resistance pancreatic cancer cells. So the next question was to explore how their metabolic alterations is in comparison to the wild types. So the first experiment we performed the XF metabolic flux assay, in which we found that these therapy resistant cells has the higher ECOG, that indicates mainly that they are highly glycolytic, and by the other several in vitro assays, like the glucose uptake, their dependence on the glucose, we established that these therapy resistant cells are highly glycolytic and they are more dependent on the glucose. And digging down further, we went to the in vivo, and when we implanted these cells apoptopically in the pancreas of these cells, and then after development of the tumor when we did the FDG PET imaging. So as we have seen in our in vitro finding, in the in vivo also we found that these cells have very high glucose uptake. That means they are highly glycolytic. So further we performed the LCMS based metabolomics, and there also we found that the gemcitabine resistant cells have the higher glycolytic intermediate resistance, and further we also observed that they have higher nucleotide pool also. And at the molecular level we found that the one of the key molecular regulator, the HIF1 alpha, was significantly upregulated in these cells, and HIF1 alpha mediated other glycolytic genes were also significantly up in these therapy resistant cells. So further to establish the clinical relevance of these altered metabolism and these metabolic regulators, so first we targeted the HIF1 alpha by a pharmacological agent, the digoxin, which is a translational inhibitor of HIF. So here you can see, like when we combined the gemcitabine, the digoxin, it improved significantly the overall tumor burden in the mice, and it significantly reduced the tumor cell proliferation as well as the glucose uptake. So this was the pharmacological inhibition. We further did the genetic targeting also by CRISPR-Cas9 mediated HIF1 alpha knockout in these therapy resistant cells and treated them with the gemcitabine. Here also we found the similar result, that HIF1 alpha knockout cells have much better sensitivity towards the gemcitabine. So these were all the cell-based model in which we use the orthotopic implantation model. So to further go like more physiologically relevant model, we established the patient-derived xenografts in which we got the tumor chunk from the patients and implanted in the mice, and when the tumor developed, then started these combinatorial treatment. And here also you can see that when we combined the gemcitabine, the digoxin, it significantly inhibited the tumor growth, but in fact it shrinked the tumor, and similar was the tumor cell proliferation was also significantly hampered. So these findings were published a couple of years back, and on the basis of this UNMC started a trial in which the digoxin and FOLFIRINOX, they are trying to giving the neoadjuvant therapy, and we are hoping for some good results. So like Dr. Singh said earlier, now the first line therapy for the pancreatic cancer is the FOLFIRINOX, which is mainly combination of different chemotherapies like 5-FU-oxaliplatin and irinotecan with the leucovorin. So like other therapies, these also have the similar problem like efficacy as well as the development of the resistance. So to study the molecular mechanism of the FOLFIRINOX resistance, we use the similar approach to generate the FOLFIRINOX resistant cells, and we were able to generate at least 5 to 15-fold FOLFIRINOX resistant cells. And as you know that in the most of the cases in the chemotherapeutic response, reactive oxygen species homeostasis plays very significant role. So first we measured the ROS level in these wild type as well as the FOLFIRINOX resistant cells, and we found that somehow the FOLFIRINOX resistant cells are managed to lower their ROS level. And further evaluation of one of the master regulator of the ROS, NRF2, we found the NRF2 was significantly high in these cells. But targeting NRF2 is very tricky. Sometimes it's pro-tumorigenic, sometimes it's the anti-tumorigenic. So we wanted to find the other alternative approach. So digging down through the literature, we found that NRF2 stabilizes the BACH1, which is also sort of the ROS regulator as well as involved in the other processes. And we found in our system also that the BACH1 level was significantly high in these therapy resistant cells. And it has been shown that BACH1 is involved in the different processes which significantly contributes in the cancer development as well as the therapy resistance, like the epigenetic alterations, metabolism, senescence, ferroptosis, etc. But in case of the pancreatic cancer, the role of BACH1 is not well explored. Some people have reported it's pro-tumorigenic, some people have reported the anti-tumorigenic. So we went through some of the publicly available databases, and there we found that the BACH1 level was significantly high at the protein level as well as at the mRNA level in the PDAC patients, and its higher expression correlates with the poor survival of the pancreatic cancer patients. Similarly, another independent study also have shown that their higher level is significantly correlated with the poor survival of the cancer patient. So further we evaluated the BACH1 level in the pancreatic cancer cells and compared that with the normal transformed cells, and here in the top panel you can see in the most of the pancreatic cancer cell lines the BACH1 level was significantly high, and when we knock down the BACH1 you can significantly reduce the growth. And the key advantage targeting BACH1 because there is a FDA approved compound, the hemine, which can directly degrade the BACH1, and we tested that and we found that it works, and treatment of the hemine to the pancreatic cancer cells also reduce the growth in the dose dependent manner. So the further question was to can we improve the fall efficacy in the resistant cells by hemine, and while using the sublethal dosage of the hemine you can see that in the FOLFIRINOX resistant cells we can significantly improve the therapeutic efficacy. I don't know what this square is coming. So anyways, to further explore the molecular mechanism, we analyzed the RNA-seq data from the pancreatic cancer cell lines in which the BACH1 has been knocked down, and we found that the topmost regulated pathway was the unfolded protein response, and by digging down more that the genes related with the survival and other, we narrowed down on the PDIA6, which is a protein disulfide isomerase, and its level was significantly down in all the replicates of the siRNA knockdown. And further, we found that the PDIS6 level was also significantly high in the pancreatic cancer patients at the protein level as well as the mRNA level, and its higher expression correlates with the overall poor survival of the pancreatic cancer patient. So these are very preliminary studies. We are now digging down more that how the BACH1 mediated EPR might be impacting the overall therapeutic response. So in conclusion, that we have up to this part that for resistant cells exhibit altered RAS homeostasis, and the targeting BACH1 improves the therapeutic efficacy of FOLFIRINOX in the pancreatic cancer cells, and BACH1 mediated PDIS6 expression might be playing the critical role, so we have to establish its role further by utilizing our in vivo and in vitro model system. And I would like to thank my lab members, Dr. Singh lab members, and my collaborators, Dr. Singh, Dr. Mehla, and Devu, and my funding sources, and I will be happy to take any questions.